Well, hi. It is Monday, October 28th, 2024, and back for another morning coffee on this Monday morning edition. I'm Todd Studer, and, I got a guest host here with me today, Mr. Kevin Keith, Nashville recording artist. How are you today, sir?
I am doing well. How are you?
I am very well. Thank you. Let's get this part out of the way. I have a coffee mug, and I pulled this out for a reason. I say that every single day, but I did pull it out for a reason because out in Colorado, Rocky Mountain National Park, Trail Ridge Road just closed for the season. They're shut down until next, probably close to Memorial Day, because they can't clear the snow off that road all year long. So
I've been on that road.
Yeah, so have I. And this is what I have. And this is actually a very old mug that I will not put anything into anymore because this used to belong to my grandparents on a trip that they made out there.
Oh, wow.
And it's, I don't know if you can see it or not. It's very cracked. You can see it's got a lot of age to it. So, but this from Rocky Mountain National Park, you can't buy these anymore. They don't sell them like this. So, that's in honor of another season ending on Trail Ridge Road, which is a beautiful drive. If you've never done it, I highly recommend it. So there's today's coffee mug, and I
got mine.
You brought a coffee mug too?
I got my coffee mug.
Look at you bringing Waffle House.
This is literally my favorite place in the world to eat, especially when we go down to Nashville. We always make
and I was talking about that last week, and we figured out that the closest Waffle House is St. Joe.
Yep, St. Joe.
And then there's another one. There's a bunch actually in Kansas City, and there's another one at Plant City if you get off at that exit. So there are Waffle Houses within, what's St. Joe, about a 2-hour ride?
Yeah, something like that. I literally have threatened my kids to wake them up on a Sunday morning and just drive down to St. Joe for Waffle House. I mean, just for Waffle House. Yeah.
And that's what I was talking about. What other place smells like that when you walk in? That smell of waffles and coffee and bacon and they're scattered, smothered, and covered in chunked hash browns or whatever they're doing. Man, they better send me some money after all this free publicity I'm giving them.
Me too, right? We're sitting there talking about them. I know. I've many of late nights in Nashville, Tennessee, hanging out at a Waffle House. Trust me.
Oh, there's no better place. There's no better place, and there's no better food when you're just coming off of whatever you were drinking that night, and you need some actual food in your stomach. Waffle House is the perfect place.
Yeah.
Say you just made an announcement that you got a new song out.
I do.
And I know that it's not available completely widespread yet, but it is out there, and people can hear it.
Yeah, so I finally decided to go ahead and release some of the other singles that were on my EP that we recorded, 2 years ago, something like that. I think we're pushing 2 years ago. Rocking Chair came out a long time ago. We recorded that all down in Nashville. That was done through the label that I was working with at the time. And so this one, all the rest of these that we're releasing now are all going to be just on my independent label, I guess you want to call it. So just through Kevin Keith. It won't be affiliated with any of the labels down in Nashville or anything. It's just going to be me. And but I have all the rights to all those songs anyway, so that's what we're doing. And so we're going to release each song individually, probably every maybe 3, 4, 6 months, somewhere along the line, just kind of keep the interest going and everything. And then summertime comes around, then that's when Beaches is going to be released, I think. So because you got to time it just right.
That's a part of the industry that I am very unfamiliar with, but it's important to be able to do all of that stuff. What's the title of the new song, and what's the story behind it?
All right, so the new song that's just coming out is going to be Son of a Preacher Man. And this song was a title that I actually thought of one day on my way to work, driving to Blair. And I just thought, I am the son of a preacher man. Both my grandfather and my father were both preachers. And I grew up in the church, and everybody says, Kevin, are you going to be, follow your grandfather's and your dad's footsteps? And I always tell them, no, because I am what you call the black sheep of the family, kind of. So, but the song title, like I said, it describes, my grandfather and how he was a minister, and my dad, how he was a minister, and how both of them, even though they were, they had this side here, the church side of them, both of them also had a little bit of a wild streak as well. And so that's kind of how that whole idea became about. I was talking to the guy that I co-wrote this song with, named Bill DeLuigi, and I have no idea. I hope I'm saying that right. I think that's how I say it. But we wrote this song because we were on our way down to Nashville one time, and I was driving through Kansas City, and then my dad lived in Kansas City at the time, and it was Father's Day weekend, and I called him up and I said, "Hey, I don't have time to stop and talk to you right now." And I said, "But I just want to let you know I'm driving through Kansas City and wanted to say hey." And I was on my way to Nashville. I go, "Any requests while we're down there?" And he goes, "Yeah, write me a song." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. No big deal." Write down a song.
Yeah, no big deal. Yeah, I can just, let me pull over to the rest area and knock that out in a few minutes.
Exactly. So when we got there, we started these writing sessions. I had that title in my head, son of a preacher man. And then I had to explain it to my co-writer, Bill. And he's like, "All right, I get your idea," So we wanted to tie in how, grandpa was a mechanic, but yet on Sundays he was a preacher. And so that's the thing with our church that we're members of, is that it's not a full-time gig. A lot of those guys don't even get paid at that level anyways. And again, like I said, it talks about how, they had a little bit of a wild streak, and, but it also kind of goes full circle, kind of comes around at the end of where I, become kind of the prodigal child. And even though I may have a little bit of a wild streak in me, which everybody knows, if they know me, they know who I really am.
I've never seen it. No, I've never seen it. No.
Yeah, no. No, never seen it. I'm straight and narrow. But it just kind of takes you back full circle, and, talks about, even though I may be a little bit of a wild child, I still have that background in the church as well. So that's kind of how that song come about.
Well, number one, I love the song. I think it's a great song. I think that it, as a novice, I mean, I couldn't classify myself as a music critic, but I can classify myself as somebody who's heard a lot of music in my career, and I think it's good. I think it's good. I really do like it, and in the past, you and I have visited before in, different entities. We'll just say that. And I know I've talked to you about some of this stuff before, but, you have decided to keep your family here and raise your family in this area. And when a lot of folks that are trying to make it in the industry that you're in have pulled up stakes and moved to Nashville, because that just seems to be what everybody does. But you just said, no, I'm raising a family, and I want to make sure that I honor that. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that and about that decision to stay here.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, we're born and raised here. I actually was born in Pisgah, Iowa, and I live in Minden now. So I literally live, an hour away from where I was born and raised. My wife is from Malvern, Iowa, which is about an hour away from here as well. So it's
all Southwest Iowa. Yep.
Yeah, we've all stayed within kind of the same area, and all of our family has. None of us have really ventured out too far, anyways. And so we actually did talk, though. I mean, when my three boys were growing up and out of the house, and we just had my daughter, and she was only 10 at the time we were talking about it, 10 or 11. And I said, it wouldn't be that difficult. She's young enough. She could still make new friends and this and that and everything. We talked, Andre could still, work from home, down there and work for the same company and all that kind of stuff. And me, as, my real job is being a mail carrier, I could transfer down there and everything. So we talked about all those ideas, but when it comes down to it, I heard somebody say one time, one of the guys told me, actually, this is the very first conversation I ever had with anybody down in Nashville as a writer. I met this guy named Mark, and he's a big time writer down there. And I didn't know it at the time, but over the years I've gotten to know him, and I understand that how important he is down there. Um, but he says, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Iowa." And he goes, "You like writing songs?" I go, "I try." And he says, "Go back to Iowa." And I said, "Oh, geez." I'm like, here I am in, Nashville thinking this is where I
Right.
need to be. And he says, "Go back to Iowa." I'm like, huh. And I think the reason he said that is because songwriters song it's not like it was. Okay. I mean, it's nowhere near like it was back in the days of, the Waylon and the Willie and
Mm-hmm.
Chris Christopherson and Johnny Cash and all those guys. You're not going to see musicians walking down Music Row anymore. You're not going to just see musicians hanging out in bars and stuff. Writers and people just walking into, executives' offices and things like that and pitching songs. That just doesn't happen anymore. And writers don't make enough money or as much of money as they used to either. They don't get as many royalties and stuff from the songs that they back then like they used to. So just Nashville has just changed so much over the years. And so I see people too, younger people all the time going and, moving to Nashville. And, I've heard stories they say, for every one person that moves to Nashville, there's 1,000 moving out. I
Right.
mean, but yeah, and vice versa sometimes. I mean, so it's the city's growing, it's huge. A lot of buildings are getting torn down and they're putting up six, skyscrapers and all that kind of stuff. And we just figured that wasn't for us. We wanted to, quiet a small town. And even if we did move down there, it was going to be like an hour or so outside of Nashville. We weren't going to live in Nashville. We were going to live, in Kentucky or somewhere outside of the city in the suburb area, small town, something similar to what we live now, just because that's what we love. We love the small town. We like small town people. We like small town businesses, and those are all the business. Those are all the type of places that I like to support, and they always have supported me in whatever it's been, and that I've been doing with my music or anything else. And so that was just our biggest decision for staying here in Iowa. And, with today's technology, we can do all this stuff and we don't
Yeah.
have to live in Tennessee, and
Right.
I think that's a common misconception. Everybody thinks, well, I want to be a music star, I got to move to Nashville. No, you don't. A lot of these things that you're hearing on the radio now, some of them are done on iPhones, videos and things like that. And it's impressive. I being, in my 50, almost 50, I don't have the knowledge when it comes to that type of stuff, or the patience for that type of stuff. So,
I get it. Yep.
it's difficult for me to get with some of that, but like my kids, they know how to do all that stuff. So, but
Well,
yeah,
and I'm
so in a nutshell, that's really why we decided to stay here, is because I can be doing the same thing, musically right here in Iowa with the technology that we have, rather than having to go down to Nashville. I will go
well, and
down
you
to
have
Nashville for particular things, but yeah, otherwise I stay here.
a that musical passion is all through your family. I've seen
Oh
it.
man,
I see stuff your
yeah,
kids are posting, or you're posting about your kids, or
yeah,
stuff like. They're all that
yeah,
passion of what you have in your life. They picked up
yeah.
on, and they're running with it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I always said, if I never make it in this business, hopefully one of them will. And I'm dead serious with that. I mean, I've always been the type of person to tell my kids, chase your dreams, be realistic, but chase your dreams. don't expect it to happen overnight and things like that. And but yeah, I mean, if they want to be like, one of my sons want to be an actor, go for it, and I'll support him for that. The other one wants to be, like some sort of music producer, gamer type stuff, which I don't know anything about the gaming and all that kind of stuff. But
Right.
you know what? He's into it, and if that's what makes him happy, and he's able to make money at doing it, then do it. My daughter, she's in middle school now, and she's starting to get into music and theater as well, and she's doing great at it too. So, and even my oldest son can sing. He doesn't all the time, but we all know that he can sing and stuff. So yeah, all the kids are very musically inclined and very very talented in their own.
Well, and you guys, being because I follow you on social media, I can
Yeah,
see very plainly how important family is to you. I can see
yeah,
how important your wife is to you. And I think
yeah,
that these types of qualities, not just because of where we're from, where we live in Southwest Iowa, and it's kind
right.
of ingrained into us in there, but I think it also benefits you when it comes to your music career and when you were writing songs and that kind of thing. And even if you're not writing something specifically about them, I
Yeah.
think that the feeling comes through.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because when I do my shows, I, I catch myself saying a lot, "This is a song about my wife," because it's about writing about. For me, it's writing about what you know, and I know my relationship. I know my relationship with my kids. I know, growing up in Pisgah, growing up in this area. And those are the things I like to write about. A lot of other artists out there they'll not only write stuff about what they know, but they'll also write, make up a story or something like that. And that's great because it probably resonates with certain fans and whatever. But I've just never really been somebody to just make up a story to create a song. I always wanted the song to come out of some sort of personal experience or life experience. And so I try to use those, and pretty much every single song I've ever written has some sort of personal meaning to it.
Well, let's talk a little more about your latest release, Son of a Preacher Man. Now, as you said, this is independent label.
Yeah,
It's not easy to do, but that doesn't mean it's not worth doing.
right.
And the most important thing is, you're putting yourself out there and you're getting your music out there, and the success that may or may not come from it is kind of, I think, correct me if I'm wrong,
Hmm.
needs to kind of be secondary, because if you don't have a
Yeah.
passion for this, then none of the other stuff matters.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I could write all these songs and just keep them, and keep them and just play them at my shows or whatever. And honestly, that's what I started out doing until people started saying, "Dang, that's a really good song. Where can I hear it? Do you have a CD? Do you have is that can I download that on something?" And so when it started becoming, stuff out of, things, those were being requested. That was when I decided to go, okay, you know what? Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should get some of these out. And so I researched some of the different, trust me, seems like a billion different companies out there that will distribute music. Each one has its own, perks and whatnot, pros and cons. And then, but we chose a certain company that I thought that was going to benefit me the most. And, and so like you said, we felt like we just had to get it out there, because it was something that the people were asking for. And I felt like I kind of owed it to them, I guess, to get some music out there so they can download and listen and carry it around in their phones. And in today's industry, today's music industry, and you will probably attest to this, it's all about the downloads. It's all about the algorithms. It's a numbers game anymore. And it's not, back in the day, it used to be how many spins you got, right?
Right?
And
Yeah. I was just
it's
talking about this today. That exact phrase
yeah,
came up
it's
today. Yeah.
yeah, it's all about the spins and how many you're getting. And now it's not a physical spin. It's how many times somebody presses play. on that particular song. And, a lot of artists don't make a lot of money doing this, but because it's literally pennies on the dollar that you're receiving. However, if you have, you're making a penny a download and you make 1 million downloads, well, do the math, it adds up.
Right.
So, so we're hopeful, obviously, but like you said, it's not the goal. The main goal wasn't really to make money off of it. The main goal is basically just to get the music out so the people who come to my shows and that have heard my music and everything have something that they can, listen to at any time.
And I've talked about it with other people just recently too, that, there's a misconception and people get this feeling that if something goes viral, that it was intended that way and it was planned that way. And that's how it happened. If we knew how to do that, everything would go viral.
Yeah.
That's what would happen.
Yeah.
And you would have the 1 million downloads by the end of next week. We don't know
Yep.
what causes that to happen. So our job, whether it be with what you're doing or with what I'm doing, is to just keep putting out content and to keep doing what it is that we love to do, support who we love to support. You're supporting your community just the same way that I'm supporting mine. That is important to you. I know for a fact that your the town that you live in is incredibly important to you. When it got taken out by a tornado this year, you were the first person that I saw online, doing something about it. And okay, we got some folks that need some help here. So that to me is the biggest part.
Yeah, I think one of the very first things we did is I thought, well, how, I'm thinking, for people who don't know, I live in Minden, Iowa, and Minden, Iowa was, nearly half of our town was taken out by a tornado back in April, and it was devastating for the whole community. So we just thought, well, what can I do? And I'm like, we already had tons of people doing the physical labor and all that kind of stuff, and I would have just been in the way. So we decided just to, take a day. I didn't have to work that day, so we went down and we volunteered at the donation site that was bringing in all the donations and everything, and we just decided to work that way. And I thought, well, I'll try to use my fan base, all my socials and everything to try to generate some ideas and if people let people know what they wanted to donate and stuff. So I just used that and I wrote a song about it, the whole situation and everything. And so again, just as Pisgah is important to me, my hometown, the town I live in is just equally as important. So.
Well, I'm going to put a link to the new song, Son of a Preacher Man. You're going to find that in the description. So I'm going to put the YouTube link up because for right now, we're still waiting on, look, I get it. When I put out new podcasts that, if it's a new series, then I have to go through an approval routine with everybody. And it seems that some come back very quickly. Others, like Apple, sometimes takes weeks before we get it approved. Yeah. So, it just takes a while to do that. But you've got it up on YouTube now, and people can hear the new song. And you're also working on putting together some dates. You don't have any kind of a schedule set up yet, but that's coming. And you'll be out.
We don't have any. We don't have any dates scheduled quite yet. I actually just wanted to take a little bit of time off, honestly. This last year has just been absolutely crazy for me. We did some amazing shows. Probably one of the biggest shows I think I've done in my entire career is we opened up for Trace Adkins, and it was Country Drive Live, and they do a big old festival every year. And not only did I open up for those artists, they actually had me open up the entire show. I was the very first artist for the entire weekend. So I felt a little bit, a lot of responsibility to do, well. I didn't want to screw up. But it was great. And, so we had that show. And so we were so busy last year. And then, we had a show. My last show was on Labor Day weekend here in Neola. And I just wanted to take some time off, regroup a little bit, do some things with the kids and the family. And, but now I got a brand new sound system and, we got this new song out, and I just feel that it's time to get back out there and let the people hear it live as well. as the download. But yeah, the YouTube is open. The YouTube Music. Click on that link, and it should take you right to it. And as far as the other ones go, the Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, all the kind of stuff, it's all in process right now. So hopefully that should be done within this coming week. And once that happens, just stay tuned to my social media stuff, and we'll get it out to y'all.
All very cool. I'll tell you what, Kevin, I'm going to make some calls, and we're going to get you some dates booked at the Sphere in Vegas. And you'll just...
So I look like a tiny little ant down there. Is that what? I don't understand that place.
I don't either. I know that as soon as I saw the Eagles are playing there, I said, man, that would be a really cool show to see. And then I saw the ticket price, and I was like, well, okay, maybe not that cool.
Yeah. Kevin Keith shows are usually free, just so you know. Usually, you don't have to pay to get in. So I'll take all the tips you want to throw at me. But yeah,
I am very thankful always for you taking time to talk with me, regardless of what the platform might be. And looking forward to seeing you out live again. It's going to be a ton of fun. I know whether you're doing an acoustic show or whether you're with your full band, either way, it's a good evening of entertainment. So, and just want to wish you continued success, and click on that link that's in the description here. You can go and hear the latest song by Kevin Keith, son of a preacher man. And we'll just keep plugging along. Anytime you got something new coming out, you make sure you let me know.
Will do, man. Like I said, I thank you for taking time out to speak with me today. It's always good to get on different types of platforms and stuff and talk to people, and things like this help get the word out. So I really do appreciate that.
And also, we want to say thank you to some of the great sponsors that help us out with this podcast. I haven't really figured out, am I calling it a podcast, or am I calling it just a morning show, or just exactly what it is? But there's Prairie and Pine Real Estate Group is a new one. They are with Keller Williams Omaha, and we're very thankful that they have jumped on to be a part of this. We're going to be talking with Mackenzie a little bit later on this week about everything that she's doing with Prairie and Pines. By the way, is that not about the coolest name for a real estate group? Prairie and Pines. Yeah. It's kind of just describes right where we're at. And of course, Travis Waldstein, Air Serve Heating and Air Conditioning, and also Waldstein Plumbing, big supporters of this show. He comes on and talks some football with us every once in a while. Sue Pitts with Just Sue Creative. If you need some help with your website, Sue is the lady to do that. SEO, social media, all of that stuff. Just go to justsuecreative.com. Foxco Fabrication, his website is foxcofab.com, and you can hear or see everything that he's doing with metal. I'm telling you, we got a sign coming here, Kevin. It's going to be hanging up behind me that I can't. He's still getting the painting done and powder coating. It's going to be cool. It's going to be. He said, "Oh, it's big and heavy." I said, "You got something that I can attach it to the wall?" And he said, "Oh, I got that too. Don't worry about it." Some kind of there's some kind of magnet. What do they call that? Earth magnets, or some kind of thing that is supposed to just have crazy strength. That's what we're gonna. Cool. That's what we're going to connect that up there with. So that's just a few of the sponsors that are helping us out. Also, we've got the Best Wrestler. That's George Ivanoff. Go to thebestwrestler.com. If you have a young person that's interested in wrestling, there's, in my opinion, no better wrestling club in the area than to get involved with in the Best Wrestler. And George Ivanoff, a former Olympic wrestler, just does a fantastic job. And we thank everybody who has jumped on board with this program so far, and the new ones that are still coming on. And I've been humbled by the success that we've had early on, the amount of folks that comments that I'm getting back. And I still haven't really figured out yet. You can see how I got a reflection right here. We haven't gotten that fixed yet. I got to put some tape over it. But as I said, it's we don't know how this show is going to be. This is I was talking about this earlier today too, that it's going to just keep moving and transforming. And I'm sure that where you started with your music is not where it is now. And you just kind of go with it.
If you go back and listen to some of the early songs, oh gosh, they're horrible.
I have in a drawer behind me in a back bedroom over there, I have the second football game that I ever called in my life. It's on video. There was a video company there, and they took the feed from the radio station. I can't watch it. It's embarrassing.
I know, right?
It's just horrible. I'm calling a kid completing a pass to himself. That didn't happen. I said, somebody's sweeping right. That's not right. It's just horrible.
Yeah.
But you got to go through it. You got to go through it.
I'll go back and listen to some of these songs, and I'll go, what in the heck was I thinking on that one? What?
Yeah.
And then there's other songs like that I'll still play today, and they're 100% better than when they were first written. When you first write them, they sound like crap. And then, as you play the song over and over and over and over, and it progresses and becomes something completely different. And it's amazing. It's like, so.
Right. Yeah, that's what happens. You never know what something can be until you dive in and just find out.
Right.
And that's what we're doing here, and that's what you're doing. And as I said, we're looking forward to everything that's still coming. So don't be a stranger. You're welcome back here anytime.
Absolutely not.
And we also thank you for watching, listening, or however you're absorbing this show. We're very grateful for your support, and we will be back again tomorrow morning with another episode of Morning Coffee. I'm Todd Studer. Have a great day.